Hello, I'm Arielle from Revival Acres Homeschool, and today we're talking about the Charlotte Mason Form 1A and B schedule. I've gotten a lot of questions of how I'm using a gentle feast, which I have a video about that if you're interested, how I'm using a gentle feast, but I'm also doing a traditional purist Form 1 schedule for my students. So what does that mean? A Form 1 schedule for Charlotte Mason would be all subjects done in the morning. So from 9 o'clock to around 11:30, you give a feast, a robust feast of subjects, about 10 each day. And a lot of people wonder, how in the world is Arielle doing these subjects? They assume that I have to teach all day long with maybe some breaks here and there, but it must take me all day and it's exhausting. I don't want to do it. That is the farthest thing from the truth. That is not at all what Charlotte Mason would have encouraged, what she wanted in her classrooms, and that is not what I do, I promise. And you can do it too, just in the morning, and provide a robust feast for your children. But there's a catch, a caveat. You must follow a schedule. You have to have a timetable. I don't know how you would be able to follow the Charlotte Mason method to its fullest, most beautiful way without a timetable. Because in order to fit in all of these subjects, you have to be organized. You have to know the objectives that you're trying to reach and the outcomes that you're trying to reach, but more importantly, the process in which you're going to reach those things. And the process is done in the day to day. So you must have a timetable. And at first, it can feel so overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you just sit down, you look at Charlotte Mason method, you look at her articles that the parents wrote, also the actual curriculum that she sent out to the parents who wanted to be a part of her curriculum, and you can formulate this schedule. But what I did is, I love a gentle feast. So I bought a gentle feast because it's organized in such a way, like I said in the other video, it's practical, but it's true and pure to Charlotte Mason, but it's for the modern family. So I got that, but then I wanted to do the morning schedule like Charlotte Mason did and be done by noon at the latest so that we could all have our afternoons, because Charlotte Mason believed students should have afternoons to themselves to do handicrafts that they love, household chores, writing letters, outdoors as much as possible, just learning from nature. God gave us nature to show himself. And when our children are out in nature, they will learn far more about the world than anything that we can give them. And when we do give them just a little bit, when they're out in nature, they get so much more. So the afternoons should be for the children to be outside enjoying nature. So in the mornings, we have to work hard. We have to persevere, mama included, following the schedule, keeping your students on task. And by doing that, you can offer this robust feast. So what I did, I took all the gentle feast subjects that were provided for me, and I put them into a timetable that reflected the Charlotte Mason schedule. And then I added a few things that I preferred a little bit differently. Maybe not exactly the resources that were offered me through a gentle feast, mainly just things like I added dancing. Folk dancing was very important in the Charlotte Mason school. So we added dancing into our schedule, and we do it 3 times a week. I added in brush drawing. I added in chalk drawing instead of, you could do charcoal drawing, but we did chalk drawing, and then the handicraft we do twice a week. And it is a modern Charlotte Mason schedule. Handicrafts were done 4 days a week in the Charlotte Mason schools. We don't have the capacity maybe to, let's rephrase that. Mama doesn't have the capacity to do handicrafts that many times a week. But I also count chalk, we're using chalk pastels and chalkboards. I count brush drawing, and I also do a handicraft clay modeling, which was my previous video. And I highly recommend doing that with your students, and don't be intimidated. So I made this schedule, and I will do a close-up of this schedule. You can go to my blog post and you can download for free an editable version of this schedule. It'll be in Google Sheets. And then all you have to do is save a copy of it into your drive or into your computer, and then you'll be able to edit it as much as you want. Because I did all this work and I'm happy to do it. You know that I love this kind of stuff. But if I can help a family do the Charlotte Mason method and take some of that stress away from them for when they're just starting out in Form 1, I want to do that for you. So please go to my blog post if you're interested in getting a copy of this. When you make the schedule, if you're making your own, you need to make sure that you stagger the mental effort and throw in some physical, tactile things for your students to do after a very rigorous subject. And by doing that, you don't have to take breaks, because changing the subject is as good as a break. And that is how you make a Form 1 schedule. So let's take a look at this close up and we can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Here is a close-up of the Form 1 A and B schedule that I'm using for my students. As you can see, I begin each day at 8 o'clock. And during that time, it says young children, special time with mama and or chores. And that just gives me some built-in time with my younger students. Also allows my older students to get their morning work done that they need to do for chores or household work, and get dressed and get ready for the day. And then it also allows me some time to do some morning chores that I need to do before we start at 9 o'clock. Because once we start at 9, I try very hard not to look at my phone, not to do other things other than focus on school. So you'll see at 9 o'clock, we begin on Monday with OT, or Old Testament Bible reading. I follow a traditional Charlotte Mason reading rotation. A Gentle Feast has their own, so that would work there too. And then we move throughout the day. And as you can see, we switch subjects quite frequently. Every 10 to 20 minutes, you are switching. Most are 10 to 15 minutes. And that just helps the day progress so nicely. Our mornings go by so fast without burnout. We can persevere through the morning and get all that we need to done. And it keeps the day exciting. And also, as you can see, every day looks differently. And I just love that, because sometimes I have to look at my schedule. I haven't gotten the rhythm quite down yet by memory, but it just makes our days more enjoyable to have them just be a little bit different each day and look forward to some different things. You'll also see that my handicraft time, or a lot of my art subjects, takes place in this last slot, or near the end of the day. And that reason is because I need some time to set up for it. So often it will be after a play time, or like I said, it'll be at the end of the day, so that while they're cleaning up or finishing up, so that I don't have to rush them through, finishing up. We're doing, for handicraft this year, we are doing clay modeling. And, sometimes we're done at 11:30, but they're not quite ready to be done, and I don't want to frustrate them and stop. So I'll say finish up and we can save it for next time. So while they're finishing up and doing the cleanup, I start to make lunch, and then it just allows a little bit more flexibility on that end. And then, as you can see, during lunch, every day I do a family read aloud. So we are doing The Princess and the Goblin right now, which we love, by the way. I was not sure about it. I had never read it. My children love it. So I do a family read aloud while my children are eating their lunch. And then I also do a history reading at the end of the week, because we have 2 readings a week in our schedule. And then I'm also trying to incorporate, I haven't been able to do that yet, to be honest, but I want to do a special study, because we're supposed to be doing almost like a nature study that you'll see often in Charlotte Mason curriculums nowadays. That was actually more of a special study that you would do every week and focus on 3 main science topics in nature every term. So I'm going to try to do that during one time each lunch during the week. So this is my setup, and I use various resources. A lot of them come from A Gentle Feast. As you'll see here, we do a recitation during the week, and that recitation is the memory verse that comes with a gentle feast. But then and also the poem recitation. But then I've added in some Old Testament and New Testament Bible recitations that go along with our reading. And that was true Charlotte Mason. She had them memorizing at least 3 passages of scripture each term. And then there's a hymn recitation, and she wanted the students to be able to recite the hymn before they could sing it. So that's been interesting trying to do that. And I should do a video on recitation because there's a lot that I did wrong and I'm still not 100% there. But recitation should be done privately, not with all your students in the room. And I'm trying to incorporate that, and I think it's been really helpful with confidence building. But anyways, another video for another time. So here is the schedule. If you want to get one, please go to the blog post and access a free editable version. And then I'll just point out the afternoons are free for the student. So after lunch, around 12:30, they do have a chore they have to do every day. Then we are doing our nature journaling. Sometimes it's narrating to me, sometimes they'll do their brush drawing in their nature journal, using techniques that we've learned. They're outside a lot. And then also my 3rd grader has an assigned chapter each day for her literature reading that she works through. And it takes her 5 to 10 minutes and then she's done. And then the rest of the afternoon is theirs.